Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this opportunity, I would like to present about learning innovation based on technology at MTS RIYADUL BAYAN. But first of all, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Muhammad Zudi from Ibnu Khaldun University. The quality of education in Indonesia is currently still low. To improve the quality of higher education, various breakthroughs are needed that support learning in schools. Moreover, the current condition, there are still many factors that influence students in Indonesia to become lazy to learn. Laziness is what causes that low quality of education in Indonesia. Efforts to improve the quality of education need learning innovation. Learning innovation means a new change that has something to do with learning to achieve educational goals. Learning innovation is carried out with the aim that the development of each student can develop better so that the learning process can take place efficiently. In learning, the teacher should be able to develop learning methods that use more brains so that students can use their brains better. Thus, children's brains will be more developed if they are accustomed to innovative learning methods. In the current era of modernization, almost everyone is familiar with modern technology. One of the latest technologies that can be used is Internet. All information can be searched on the Internet because all the desired information can be obtained only by accessing the Internet. This method is called e-learning. In fact, the application of e-learning in the education sector in Indonesia is still in its early stages and has not been fully utilized. Obstacles and problems in the application of e-learning in the field of education, among others, are caused by the unequal infrastructure that supports the application of technology in all schools in Indonesia, and the unpreparedness of human resources, or SDM in Indonesia, in supporting the implementation of e-learning in schools. Before that, we have to know what innovation and educational technology are. According to Damapur in Suwarno, innovation is an idea, object, and practice that is based on or accepted as something new by a certain person or group to be applied or adopted. Meanwhile, educational technology is a complex and integrated process that involves people, procedures, ideas, tools, and organization to analyze problems, plan, implement, evaluate, and manage problem solving involving all aspects of human learning. Every technology has a positive impact as well as a negative impact. The positive influence of the use of technology in the world of education in Indonesia includes as a source of knowledge and education center. The emergence of mass media, especially electronic media such as internet networks, online media, computer laboratories in schools, etc., are very helpful for both educators and students in the learning process. The impact of this that teachers are not the only source of knowledge. So students in learning do not need to be too fixated on the information conveyed by the teacher, but can also access subject matters directly from the internet. Therefore, the teacher here is not only a teacher, but also as a guide for students in learning activities. In addition to the positive influence, there is also a negative effect of technology on the world of education in Indonesia, including students become lazy to learn. With advances in technology, it should be able to make it easier for students to learn, such as using gadgets, laptops with internet networks. This is what makes students become individuals who are lazy to learn. Sometimes many of them just spend time on the internet, which only brings pleasure, not to increase knowledge, such as playing online games, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and others, all of which will affect interest learners. As previously explained, one of the educational technology innovation is e-learning. So we must know the purpose of e-learning. The purpose of e-learning is to stimulate knowledge, imagination, and creativity of students, to broaden students' insight in an effort to grow sensitivity to the demands of the era towards the era globalization, to strengthen conventional learning models, and as a means of sharing learning and obtaining information through internet media. The development of technology in the millennial era as it is now has many benefits, especially in the field of education. However, it cannot be denied that the use of technology in the education sector has several obstacles, including lack of technology infrastructure provision. This is because it is difficult to reach certain areas in Indonesia, so the distribution is not evenly distributed. There are still many areas that are difficult to reach by means of transportation. To reach the target area, it can only be reached by foot. Meanwhile, on foot, it is not possible to carry various multimedia equipment. Used multimedia devices are still used in educational institutions in rural areas. Of course, this used multimedia device still uses outdated specifications, so that its use cannot compete with the rapid rate of technological development. The high cost of procuring and using internet facilities. This is returned to the government. It can be seen that the government has allocated a small amount of funds for the provision of internet facilities that can support Indonesian education. For example, the provision of facilities in rural areas is still very minimal. Meanwhile, in the city, it is almost evenly distributed, especially in leading educational institutions. Overcome these constraints, steps to solve the application of technology in learning are needed. There are several solutions for implementing technology-based learning. First, the availability of infrastructure that supports technology-based learning. This means that schools must have adequate infrastructure related to technology, such as the availability of computers or laptops, internet networks, computer laboratories, multimedia equipment such as CDs, DVDs, and infocus. Second, there must be quality materials, meaningful and cultural support for teachers and students. These materials can be in the form of interactive learning materials assisted by computers or laptops, such as CDs, DVDs, and InFocus interactive learning. Third, teachers must have the knowledge and skills in using digital tools and resources in teaching and learning activities in order to achieve the minimum completeness criteria standard or KKM. Fourth, there must be a sufficient budget or fund to procure, develop, and maintain the technology infrastructure. And what is no less important is the willingness and support of all parties. In this case, the principal, teacher, and students to implement learning with the support of this technology. Thank you for listening and your time. May all those I have shared be beneficial for all of us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.